Well, this particular video is about the internal rate of return, which is again a technique of capital budgeting. So far, we have done the payback period, the accounting rate of return, the net present value. This one is about the internal rate of return. It's the discount rate. Basically, internal rate of return is the discount rate. No, so while we understand this, you'll have to keep in mind the formula for calculating the time value of money, the present value of money, which is cash, which is present value is equal to cash flow divided by 1 plus r to the power of n, where r is the discount rate. So here we are saying it is that discount rate, internal rate of return is that discount rate that makes the NPV of a project equal to 0. Which means to say that it is the expected compounded annual rate of return that will be earned on a project or investment. Obviously, then only we are saying that whatever the value of the future cash flows, the present value of the future cash flows basically covers all that initial investment that the company made. Probably this graph will make it more clear to you. If you see, you have the discount rate, which is the IRR, which may not be the IRR all the time, but then a particular value of this discount rate will be the IRR. It is this discount rate is plotted on the x-axis and NPV is plotted on the y-axis. So as the arrow shows here, this point, which is 40%, is the point at which NPV is equal to 0. If you see NPV is equal to 0, it is touching the x-axis. So obviously NPV is 0 here. So this point is called as the IRR, which means at this, see, if you go down further, beyond this point, with an increased discount rate, the NPV starts becoming negative. Okay, and above this the NPV is positive, which is okay, which means the project still has some potential to earn a higher rate of interest. So this is the rate of interest at which which the project expects to earn from its investments. And so the condition for IRR is that discount rate at which the NPV of the project becomes 0. Let's understand the formula and then understand the concept through an example. The internal rate of return formula hence becomes 0 equal to CF0, which means initial investment. This will obviously be negative, plus CF1, CF2, which means the cash inflows. This is a cash outflow. CF1, CF2, CF3, CFN are the cash inflows. 1 plus IRR, 1 plus IRR square, which means the discount rate. Now this IRR is something that we have to calculate. The discount rate at across various periods at which the NPV will be equal to 0, and that is the reason why the left hand side of this formula is 0. 0 equal to NPV is equal to summation small n equal to 0 to n. Small n is the time period, CFN is the cash flow by 1 plus IRR to the power of n. I'm sure the example will make it even clearer to you. Let's look at the example here. Now, the method which is shown in the example here is called as a trial and error method. IRR can be calculated using Excel. It can be very quickly calculated using Excel. The trial and error method of calculating IRR is a little cumbersome, time-taking, but so be it. To understand the concept well, it's worth understanding the method. Okay, so let me take you through this example. Suppose that you have an opportunity to invest $5,000 for 3 years. So this is the initial investment, $5,000, and $200 in the first year is your cash inflow, $200 in the second year, and $5,200 when the investment is closed in the year 3. So this is these are kind of cash inflows that you get across 3 years. What is the NPV at 10% interest? Now the question has randomly picked up this IRR. You will understand the reason why. Here we have money out of $5,000. To calculate the PV, we're saying year one, $200 discounted at 10% gives 181.82. $200 discounted for 2 years at the same rate, 165, and then again similarly 5,200 discounted for 3 years at 10% gives you the third value. When we add up all these three, we get the total present value of the project. Okay, and to find out the present value is 181.82. As you see, these three are the addition of all the three cash inflows to arrive at the present value of the cash inflows. Now from this, if you deduct the cash outflow of $5,000, it will give you the NPV of $746.05. Please notice the negative sign here. It means that the worth of future cash flows that you are getting from this project is lesser than the original investment of $5,000. Okay, that is why the NPV is negative. So as a decision maker, you will not pick up this project because here the NPV is negative. Now the point here is not that. The point here is to find out that rate of interest at which the NPV becomes zero. Okay, so what we do is, since 10, okay, so 10 is at a 10% rate, you figured out that NPV was negative. So now the challenge for you is to arrive at a rate which is higher or smaller than 10%. How do we know whether you should choose a higher rate or a smaller rate? Just an indication. I'll go back to this graph again. If you see, when at a particular level, you are at a level where your NPV is negative, which means you are below this x-axis. You may be somewhere below this x-axis. So for you to reach up till the x-axis, you will have to reduce the discount rate, isn't it? If suppose this was 10%, if you reduce the discount rate, you will probably start moving towards the positive NPV. So hence it's clear that we will have to reduce the discount rate to arrive at positive NPV. So now the illustration has taken a discount rate of 5%. Please understand that this is just uh, an indicative interest rate. You have taken it out of your own assumption. That is why we call it as a trial and error method. So with a 5% discount rate, you go through the same calculations and you arrive at an NPV which is negative 136.15. Okay, which is again not acceptable. So for you, so which means that if you have to go to positive NPV or NPV which is more than negative 136.65, you will have to bring down the interest rates further. This question has used the interest rate of 4% then, and if you see, when you calculate the NPV using 4% interest rate, you arrive at zero NPV. Now that's what we were looking at. So which means that this project has an IRR of 4%, assuming all goes according to the plan. Okay, that is how you use the IRR method to understand the project's return. Well, yeah. So higher the IRR, better it is for a project. This is just an indication of for a company to compare its cost of capital and the project's IRR. The project's IRR at any point in time should be more than the cost of capital of a company. And what does cost of capital typically mean? It means that the cost the company is paying on bank borrowings. Let's say they have floated bonds. Let's say they have borrowed money from the investors, and the investors' expected rate of return. Anything, anyway, basically it's the cost which they are incurring on borrowing their capital. The IRR of the company should be more than that. Only then it makes sense for the company to accept that project. I hope this makes the concept of IRR clear to you. Thanks for now.